Hey crew, welcome back to the workshop. Artisan Pirate here, and in today's fun video, we're going to be back over on the Shark Next Wave CNC machine using Tools Today bits to do some pocket carving. Now, in the past couple videos where we've been on the CNC machine, we have focused on V carving. Pocket carving is an entirely different aspect for CNC use, and I did do some pocket carving back when the CNC machine was in the workshop in years gone by. Remember, this year we've just brought it back out here and started using it again. So if you want to go and see some of those videos, they are up on the channel. But with pocket carving as opposed to V carving, you can make cool and unique Butler trays just like this. This is one that I made entirely over here on the CNC machine, and you can see here it basically looks like a little tray, and you put these on a nightstand, on a desk, and at the end of the day you can put your keys, your wallet. So there's my Swiss Army knife, my hand sanitizer, shop keys. So in that aspect there, I wanted to make some more, and I've got a very simplistic design designed up in the Vectric carving software to use over here, and we're going to be using some 3/4 inch material, and the material we're going to be using is going to be some material that was given to me by my buddy Jerry when we went up there and hung out with him and watched him turn the birdhouse and everything. But this is cabinet grade plywood because I want to do some experimentation over on the CNC. I want to try to make a Butler tray out of lighter materials such as this, and then I want to see if I can take the Butler trays after they are done over to the laser engraver, and in the bottom of them laser engrave like a logo, an image, a quote, or something like that, just combining tools that are out here in the workshop. Now, as I said, pocket carving and V carving are two entirely different things. This small Klingspor woodworking shop sign here that I made that sits on the workbench is made by V carving, and it uses a V carving bit. As you can see there, the bit, as it said, is in a V, so it goes around and just carves out the image, the logo, the words, or what have you. With pocket carving, you use straight bits, and straight bits are, as they say, completely straight. This is a 1/4 inch straight bit, and it'll go in the CNC machine just like this, and it'll go in several passes to hog out the material that will make these Butler trays. It'll go around the whole perimeter, it'll go down a little deeper, and then go all the way around. But I'm very eager to try this. I've always loved the idea of combining tools and using them in a collaborative effort out in a garage or workshop. But since the file is already designed, let's get our piece of 3/4 inch material loaded onto the Next Wave CNC machine and get started. And we are going to begin this project by attaching our scrap piece of 3/4 inch cabinet grade plywood to the spoil board of the CNC, trying to make sure it is square as possible. And then I will zero out the CNC machine and hit 0 on the X, Y, Z axis, and then it will be time to begin the carving. I've moved the camera a little closer here, and I'm using Tools Today straight carving bits, and we are taking slow, shallow passes to hog out the center of the Butler tray. And it only takes around 15 minutes for the CNC to carve this out. This is way different than V carving. As you can see, it makes a lot more sawdust, and I do wish I had a dust boot on this CNC machine. Maybe I'll get one in the future. But I wanted to do some experimentation in the workshop by combining the CNC and the laser engraver, and plus it had been a long time since I had made one of these Butler trays. All in all, in today's video we will make 3 Butler trays, but you will only see the process of one being made over on the CNC machine, since it would basically be just a rinse and repeat of the process. The GoPro given a nice up-close view, and periodically I was coming over with the shop vac and just cleaning up some of the sawdust. Again, pocket carving makes a lot more sawdust. And now it's doing the outside perimeter cut that will complete all of the CNC work. Again, it only took around 15 minutes or so. So to make 3 Butler trays, including the time that it took to switch out the boards and re-zero the CNC, I had about 45 minutes work in it. But now I'll jog the head of the CNC machine back and take our Craftsman drill here, and we will remove the piece from the spoil board. And now I can take all 3 of the CNC Butler trays over to the Rikon scroll saw, and with a number 5 Ultra reverse tooth blade, I can do the flush trim to release the pieces from the waste wood. Since I am proficient with the scroll saw, it's easier for me to do this as opposed to programming tabs into the software for cutting out these trays. And I'll do some flush sanding on the rigid belt sander. And then to sand the inside side of the Butler trays before heading to the laser engraver, we'll go over to the Craftsman drill press and we'll use a sanding mop from Klingspor Woodworking Shop. A really useful accessory to get into all of the nooks and crannies here. But then it'll be time to head over to the TOOCAA 40-watt laser engraver for the rest of today's project. And keep in mind, with doing the Butler trays, I'm having to raise the head of the laser a lot higher than normal so the laser can get down into the cavity where we hogged out that material over on the CNC machine. But I will engrave all of them here, and depending on the detail and what you are engraving, that will kind of help differentiate the time it's going to take. I done my mom's logo on one, I done my logo on another, and then I done the Klingspor Woodworking Shop on the one we made out of nice pine material. And it varied between 15 and 16 minutes to engrave the logos. But here you see my logo, and again I'm still getting used to the camera feature. But now we will put the GoPro on the inside side of the enclosure, and you can see what I'm talking about by the laser head being higher than normal. Usually it's a lot closer to the material. If you guys like what you're seeing, I would highly encourage you to subscribe to the channel and also follow me across all my social media feeds under the Artisan Pirate name. I'd really appreciate the support. And as always, I had on the safety UV goggles and the dust extractor going in the workshop while the laser was running, keeping the air quality in the workshop as clean as possible. But you can see it going back and forth here. This time it is doing my mom's Turtle Doves Ceramics logo. It's just a logo I had already loaded up onto the laptop. And with each one I got progressively better with centering out the pieces. And then I'm going to show you the reveal of the final one here. And this is the one I put the Klingspor Woodworking Shop logo on, and I think it came out the best. But to finish off today's project and woodworking experiment, we'll go back over to the drill press and we will once again use the Klingspor Woodworking Shop sanding mop to clean up any of the laser residue and give everything a final sanding.
And crew, here are the 3 CNC Butler trays we made in today's video. Of course, you've seen the process of making one on the CNC machine, and then you've seen the TOOCAA 40-watt laser engraver engrave 2 of them in today's video. But all in all, we did make 3 of them. And from the first one we done to the eventual last one, and I'm going to show all 3 of them here on the video as we get ready to close it, I got a little bit better and better in refining the technique. That's why when I do some research and development out here in the workshop, I try to batch stuff out to where I can experiment with each piece in different ways, if that makes any sense. But it took the Next Wave CNC machine with a Tools Today 1/4 inch
straight carving bit around 15 minutes to carve out the tray. So you've got about 45 minutes to do all three of these. You could quickly batch these out if you wanted to. Of course, if you went bigger with them, they would of course take a longer period of time. And we made them out of this cabinet plywood that my buddy Jerry Meismer gave me when we went up and seen him. But here you see the results of the first one, and you can see how it went in there in the time-lapse portion, how it carved out, or hogged out if you want to call it that, all of the stuff to make out the tray, and then it done a perimeter cut line all the way around. Keep in mind, this is just something that I do. You could do it totally different. You could do it with tabs if you wanted to. I left an 1/8 inch lip all the way around that final outside piece. That way, since I'm proficient over at the scroll saw, and that's commonly what the Artisan Pirate is known for, I could take it over to the scroll saw and flush trim it to the best of my abilities before taking it over to the rigid belt sander and doing a flush sanding all the way around. When you do this option over at the CNC machine, if you have an MDF spoil board like I do, it just prolongs the life of it to where you do not have to keep going out and getting spoil boards. I hope that makes sense, but I did that with all three of the pieces here. You can see that 1/8 inch lip on all of them, and again, it took around 15 minutes to do each individual tray. Then we took all three of them over to the drill press with the Klingspor Woodworking Shop sand and mop, and I sanded everything up, just a preliminary sanding. And then we went over to the TOOCAA 40-watt laser engraver, and with the camera and everything, I am still getting used to it. I want to thank TOOCAA for supplying me with the camera, but I lined it up to the best of my abilities, and we put the Artisan Pirate logo. Of course, this is the banner out in the workshop that's hanging up, and also the sticker I send out. But you can see it there. I did my best to line it up in the center, but it came out nice and crisp. And after this one was done, it took about 8 minutes to do this. The 40-watt laser can just fly through projects. We done the next one, and this was also made out of that cabinet grade plywood. We done my mom's logo for her ceramic page, Turtle Dove Ceramics. And I encourage you all to go and follow her page. But you can see here I was getting a little bit better with centering the logo up. Of course, my logo is more of a square logo, and her logo is more of a rectangle. So you can see there between the first one and the second one, I was getting a little bit better and lining them up. And again, today's video was just an experiment to see what could be done when you combine the CNC with the laser engraver. So I'm eager to try more advanced projects, maybe make something with multiple pockets, you know, and put something in the bottom of each one. Who knows? We'll see what happens over at the CNC and laser engraver. And then on the final one, I think I finally had it dialed in perfectly. I've done the Klingspor Woodworking Shop logo. You of course know that Klingspor, Rikon, Shark are all supporters of this channel. But I put the Klingspor logo in here, and it came out beautifully. Now this one here is just a piece of 3/4 inch pine shelving board. Of course, if you are going to go this route with the laser engraver, you need lighter shades of material. I think you could potentially do it with cedar, depending on the grain texture of a cedar board that you were going to carve out. But I know you could do it with like pine, soft maple, spruce, the lighter shades of wood and oak and things like that. But the engraving came out nice and crisp. And after we got done with all three of them, sometimes when this laser engraver is going, keep in mind I couldn't have it zeroed out all the way down because the laser had to go into that cavity that the CNC hogged out. I went back to the sanding mop to clean up some of that soot and everything that it left. Of course, I had the air assist on, I had the air filtration unit going, and I had the safety UV goggles on the whole time the laser was running. But all in all, a good morning's work for experimenting over on the CNC machine and the TOOCAA 40-watt laser engraver. And now with this, of course, it's still very square in appearance. If you wanted to, you could take it over to a router table and put a round over on it to give it a more comfortable feel. But again, this is meant for, at the end of the day, you could put this on your nightstand, on your headboard, on your bed if it has a shelf on it. I know my headboard does. That's where I lay the book I read every night, or the books I read. You can put your keys, your wallet, your loose change, your Swiss Army knife, whatever you want to in these at the end of the day, and then you know where everything is each morning when you get up and you're getting ready for the day and getting dressed. You can grab your stuff and it's a great way to keep up with stuff. Now again, the original one I made, I think this one was made out of mahogany. I picked it up out of the scrap bin at the hardwood store. This one here, of course, you can see here, if I was going to engrave that one, the engraving might not show up in that darker material, speaking of using lighter shades of material for this. But you can see here that this one was bigger, and this one took about 35 minutes to do, and this one here only took around 15, so just please be aware of that. And then of course if you had multiple pockets, so if you wanted to make something with like separate trays, like if you wanted to measure out for the Swiss Army knife and have its own spot to go in, kind of like those Kaizen foam pieces that people have in their workshops, you could measure them out, but keep in mind the CNC machine would have to do all of those in different passes, and it would just take that much more longer. This was just a very simplistic design to test a theory to see if we could combine the Next Wave CNC machine with the TOOCAA 40-watt laser engraver, and I hope in your opinions that it came out great, and we can proceed further with trying some more intricate designs. I know I can design, what I would like to do is design a skull tray to put my stuff in, like my rings and my bracelets I wear every day in, because I'm the Artisan Pirate and the skull is commonly associated with pirates and Halloween and everything, but make like a skull outline and then either laser etch or get out my wood burner, I haven't used that in a long time, and laser engrave or laser burn the eyes, the teeth, and the nose and the skull in the bottom here. I think that would be really cool. Really creative idea to make a Butler tray. But once these are done, again, you could sand them up nice and smooth, you could stain them, you could clear coat them, you could put some epoxy down in here to where wouldn't nothing get chipped or broke away. But the skies are the limits, and I hope in today's video I have given you all at least some form of idea if you have a CNC and a laser engraver out in your garage or workshop. But again, a great morning doing a woodworking experiment out in the workshop, and I thank you all for following along on today's video. That's going to be about all for this one. If you're new to the channel, hopefully you'll click that subscribe button and follow me across all my social media feeds under the Artisan Pirate name. As always, links to contact me as well as all my social media feeds will always be linked down in the description box below these videos. That's about all for this one, crew, and remember, if I can make it or do it, so can you all. I'm the Artisan Pirate. Take care, and I'll see you all real soon.